Hollywood Unlocked reports this: Cardi B slams Donald Trump as he continues to promise federal immunity to police officers despite outrage over Sonia Massey murder. Quote, after watching her get killed in 4K.
I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Immunity is just going everywhere now. Like, it's just like Oprah, you get immunity, you get immunity. Everyone, like the Supreme Court announced that presidents have immunity and can't get charged, and then you turn around now and give this former president, possibly next president, is saying I'm going to give immunity to just everybody. Everybody's getting immunity.
I'm also going to indemnify all police officers and law enforcement officials throughout the United States to protect them from being destroyed by the radical left people in office that want them to be hurt, that don't want them to look for crime and stop crime. They can stop crime so fast, but they're told not to. They're told it's
Looking at crime so fast.
Department stores that end up going out of business. And we're going to protect those officers and those precincts, and in some cases, the states. Because you can stop that whole phenomenon where they walk into 300 guys run into a department store and they loot it. And it's like literally, there's not a thing on the shelves. They take millions and millions of dollars out. And inevitably, they close the stores. They're closing stores all over the country. You can stop that in 1 day, in 1 hour, if you got really nasty and really tough. Once they see things happening that they never thought were going to happen to them, and I mean tough, it'll all stop overnight. There won't be any more. And your police would love to be the ones that do it.
He does it in sight.
They don't want to lose their homes and their families. They don't want to lose their pensions.
And so the president has complete immunity from crimes committed while in office, and police get special protections from liability in Trump's world. Sounds a tad authoritarian.
Mayors don't back them. We have to get law and order back. These are the best people in the world. They will know. The sheriff's behind me, and this is in all states. Somebody said, how will you get these criminals out? I say the sheriffs, the police officers, the police, law enforcement in their local communities, they know every bad kid. They know every bad person. They know their first name, their middle name. They know their phone numbers. They have their cell phones. They have everything about them. They know exactly what to do and how to do it. These guys know exactly what I'm talking about, but we have to let them do their job. And we're going to work out a federal immunity for police so they're allowed to do their job without losing their house and their pension and everything else when the liberal governors and mayors don't back them.
These police apparently have their names, their phone numbers, they know their friends, they know their blood type, they have their social security. Like why do they have that much information on these people? Like, you saying that they know all these bad people, these kids? I feel like that was a slip of the tongue there when he said these kids. That's scary. That's weird.
I personally think that I don't think anything anymore is a slip of the tongue with Trump. I think now it's just he uses buzzwords just like any other businessman or whatever. He's using buzzwords to attract the people that is thinking what he's saying. He's saying some wild stuff, but it's wild for us. But for the people who he's really trying to attract, it's not really that wild.
It's kind of like what Kano said a few weeks ago, where when he talks, they see themselves in him, you know? Kano, what up? Good thing we don't got to vote in 4 years if he wins. Yeah, that troublesome voting, we won't have to do that anymore, which I think that's in one of the slides that we're going to be going through. For me, this is probably one of the most terrifying things that I've heard in a while. Like, yeah, I was always concerned about Project 2025. And you already know, because we've talked, behind the scenes about the fact that I'm having trouble knowing whether or not, how serious to take Project 2025 at that time. I do now, but at that time, it seemed like it could be very, fear-mongering type of stuff. When I hear from the guy who's gonna be in office and have all the power, when I hear from him, I'm giving immunity to police officers. That terrifies me. That absolutely terrifies me, because it's basically a promise. He's essentially promising that this is what he's going to do. He's putting his cards on the table. And in my mind, if this is what he's going to do and he's telling you publicly, imagine what he has planned in the back of his mind that he's not telling you. You know? That is like, I was thinking about it today and literally having, like, my anxiety levels were raising. Because for example, real quick, Cardi B brings up the Sonia Massey case, and we're going to discuss more about that soon. She brings up the Sonia Massey case. That cop that shot Sonia Massey, right? Imagine someone like him has immunity.
Yep.
Because this is a dude that is unhinged. This is a dude that is so like the fact that he has power, the fact that we've given him a gun and a badge and authority. Meanwhile, he's shown himself he went to multiple precincts. He like all of these things, and just his attitude and all that. You can just sense all that from that footage, that body cam footage, like the attitude this man had. Now tell him he has immunity. So now anything he says is a reason to let off shots. Like a woman having a pot of water 50 feet away from him. Oh, she got to go down. What does that mean when police officers are in, you got them in your pocket and they're essentially,
and they can run amok.
Yeah, they could run amok.
It could be a real gang, for real.
Right. There's going to be it's gang mentality, bro. That's what it turns into. Because now they become his like personal police as well, because they're 100% going to support him. They're 100% going to back him and watch police shootings, beatings, wrongful arrests. All of these things are going to skyrocket. And there's nothing anyone can do about it because they have immunity. They are literally above the law, people in power. What is that telling people like us? Dude, it terrifies me, man.
Oh, man, I think I agree with wholeheartedly everything that you're saying right now. Just imagining it being kind of like the Wild Wild West right now. You got people, you got cops that are just here for the money. And I say this, like, when it comes down to public servitude, being a public servant, you really got to think about the people more than yourself, no matter how much money that you're getting. And I look at, and I don't know what they categorize cops as, but I look at them as not civil service, but as public servants. They are here to serve the public, to serve the people. Of course, they're also there to enforce and protect the law. But in doing that, you gotta be a person that is able to talk with people, be able to chat with people. And if you're only here for the money and you have implicit biases and you have struggles with seeing people as people and not anything less or higher than you know what I mean? Like, that is a very scary thought. Like, you don't care about that. I could just kill you right here, right now, and not think about that, or think about that, and it just gets easier with each time because, you don't got to go through all the necessary stuff to de-escalate a situation anymore because you're fully protected. So if you feel like I don't feel like going through this, either you get in these handcuffs or you're done. Just the fact that the Supreme Court passed that whole thing about presidential immunity, it just makes it even more easier for them to clear this bill if it does come into office. It's crazy to me, bro, that this is the situation that we're in, and we still want to vote. Like, conservatives, I get it. He clings you cling to the traditions. You feel like Trump represents that in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how. Created the slogan, "Make America Great Again." Are we sure? Are you sure you cool with the fact that that cops can have immunity now and do things that they would have thought twice to do, but now they don't have to? Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's weird, bro. And for people that's gonna be in the comments like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," you're right. I'm not I don't know. I don't have a copy of this bill that he wants to pass if he becomes president. I don't have like the ins and outs of it, but Trump is making this one of the forefront points of his campaign. Like, he's going out here, he got
Mm,
cops behind him.
yeah,
Like, this is
yeah. He's
like,
for the statement. He's got police behind him. Let me ask you this question: say he gets into office.
mhm.
Say he ends up passing this immunity thing. How do you think this goes down? Like that bill goes, and we see in the news it's been passed. What? Which is crazy because how is that even like how is that even possible? But under his Supreme Court, which he has immunity for, he can do this now. But what do you think is the reaction of people?
Great question. I think uh civil unrest for sure. I feel like it's gonna be crazy. I feel like it's gonna be wild. If you really want me to be on the conspiracy theory tip, I feel like this is just a way to exterminate black people. I'm gonna be honest with that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I want to block it out, take it out for the clip, but I feel like that's the truth. And what sparks this idea was this video from Torre that I saw. If you guys don't know who Torre is, he's a journalist, a black journalist that has interviewed many of people in the world of music, but also in the world of politics as well. And one of the things he said is that the reason why Republicans are getting at Harris using the racist narrative is because the amount of white people in America is getting smaller. The percentage is getting smaller. At one point, it was at 82%. Then it went down to 70, like in the 70s. Now it's literally in the 50s, like the mid 50%, while people of color are now kind of eclipsing white people. And it's funny that he brings this up around the eve of Project 2025. He's bringing this up on the eve of Trump now talking about how he's going to do all of these things and get immunity for police officers. Stuff like this is happening because there's a fear that they're about to become obsolete, and people of color will be the stronger force in this society, and it scares them to a point where we wouldn't be surprised if they try to done us off. You know what I'm saying? So it could be that way, but that's my conspiracy theory talking. If I'm being chill and regular, whatever, I think it's going to be civil unrest. There will be a lot of protests. There will be a lot of fighting against this. People are not going to take this lightly, especially if a cop goes on and does another Sonia Massey during this time. I don't see it ending well. I don't see it just being peaceful protests outside of the court, and then a cop gets a slap on the wrist, or a cop gets to go to jail. Like that whole system needs to be shut down, and that's how I see it.
The only other thing I'll say is that the situation also where we start taking seriously getting out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I've always wondered that. I've never been sure about it. You know what I mean? If they allow us to leave, like, that's how crazy this gets, bro. It's just terrifying to me. It's a reality I don't want to see.